Imagine waking up one morning to discover that everything you built, your business, your reputation, your future, has been stolen. Not by a stranger, not by an enemy, but by your best friend, the man you called a brother. What would you do? Most people would want revenge, justice. To watch them suffer the way they made us suffer, that's human, that's normal. But this is the true story of Christopher Williams, a man who lost everything to betrayal and then made a choice that defied every instinct inside him. This isn't a story about weakness. It's not about being a doormat. It's about a level of strength so rare, it changed 2 lives, including the life of the man who destroyed his. Stay with me, because what Christopher did will challenge everything you think you know about revenge, justice, and real power. This betrayal should have destroyed 2 lives. Instead, it saved them both. Boston, Massachusetts, 2008. Christopher Williams and Marcus Chen met on the first day of business school at Boston University. Both were 24. Both were ambitious. Both came from working-class families and saw education as their ticket to something better. They became instant friends. "You want to grab coffee?" Marcus had asked after their first finance class. "I was about to ask you the same thing," Christopher replied. That coffee became a daily ritual. Those rituals became a friendship. That friendship became a brotherhood. For 2 years, they were inseparable. Studied together, stayed up late dreaming about the businesses they'd build, pushed each other to be better. "We're going to make it, Chris," Marcus would say. "Both of us, together." Christopher believed him, completely. The partnership. After graduation, they both got jobs at consulting firms. Good jobs, 6-figure salaries. The kind of positions their parents couldn't have imagined. But they wanted more. They wanted to build something of their own. Over dinners and weekend planning sessions, they developed a business idea, a software platform that helps small businesses manage their finances more efficiently. Simple, practical, solving a real problem. They spent 2 years developing it, nights and weekends, every spare moment. Christopher handled the technical development. He taught himself coding. Marcus handled the business side, sales, marketing, partnerships. They were equals, 50-50 partners, brothers building a dream together. In 2012, they quit their consulting jobs and launched Finance Flow. Christopher's girlfriend, Emma, was nervous. "Are you sure about this? You're giving up a stable job." "I'm sure," Christopher said. "I trust Marcus with my life. We're in this together." Emma looked at the excitement in Christopher's eyes and smiled. "Okay, I believe in you." That trust in Marcus, in the partnership, in their shared dream was absolute. It would also be Christopher's undoing. Finance Flow took off faster than either of them expected. Small businesses loved it. The platform was intuitive, affordable, and solved real pain points. Within a year, they had 500 clients. Within 2 years, 5,000. Revenue grew. They hired employees, moved into a real office, started getting attention from investors. "We need to raise capital," Marcus said one evening. "Scale this thing properly. We could be huge, Chris." Christopher was hesitant. "I don't know. We're doing fine bootstrapping. Do we really need investors? If we want to compete with the big players, yeah. We need serious money. I've been talking to some VC firms. They're interested." "You've been talking to them without me?" Marcus laughed. "I'm doing preliminary conversations. Nothing formal. Come on, man. You handle tech, I handle business development. That's how we work." Christopher nodded. It was true. That was their division of labor. Marcus was better at the business side. Christopher trusted him to handle it. "Okay," Christopher said, "let's do it." They shook hands, brothers, partners, building an empire together. The investment. Marcus spent 6 months in conversations with venture capital firms. Christopher stayed focused on product development, improving the platform, keeping clients happy. "How's the fundraising going?" Christopher would ask. "Good, really good. I think we're close to a term sheet from Summit Ventures. Big players. This could be $5 million, Chris. Maybe more." Christopher's eyes widened. $5 million. It was more money than he'd ever imagined. "That's incredible, Marcus. When do we close?" "Soon. There's legal stuff. paperwork. You know how these things go. But soon, Christopher trusted him. Why wouldn't he? They'd built this company together. They were in this together. In December 2014, Marcus called a meeting. "We got it," Marcus said, grinning. "Summit Ventures, $6 million. They're wiring the money next week." Christopher hugged him. "We did it, brother. We actually did it." "Yeah," Marcus said, returning the hug. "We did." What Christopher didn't know, what he had no way of knowing, was that we had become I. January 2015 was the best month of Christopher's life. The investment money had come through. Finance flow was expanding rapidly. They'd hired 10 new employees, opened a second office. Christopher proposed to Emma. She said yes. They started planning a fall wedding. Christopher's parents came to visit the office. His father, who'd worked in a factory for 35 years, looked around with tears in his eyes. "I'm proud of you, son," he said. "You built something real." Christopher felt like he'd made it. After years of struggle, sacrifice, late nights, and risk, he'd actually made it. He had a thriving business, a brilliant partner, a woman he loved, a future that looked impossibly bright. Standing in his office that evening, looking out at the Boston skyline, Christopher thought, "This is what success feels like." He had no idea that in 3 weeks everything would be gone. Christopher was working late on a Thursday night when he got an email from Summit Ventures, the VC firm that had invested in finance flow. Subject: clarification needed regarding finance flow, equity structure. Strange. Christopher opened it. "Dear Mr. Williams, we're reaching out regarding some inconsistencies in our records. Our documentation shows Finance Flow, Inc., as wholly owned by Marcus Chen, with you listed as an employee. However, our initial conversations with Mr. Chen indicated a partnership structure. Can you please clarify your equity position in the company?" Christopher read it 3 times. His hands started shaking. Wholly owned by Marcus Chen? Employee? That was wrong. Obviously wrong. They were 50-50 partners. Had been from day one. Christopher immediately called Marcus. Voicemail. He called again. Voicemail. He sent a text. "We need to talk. Now. Got a weird email from Summit." No response. Christopher pulled up the incorporation documents for Finance Flow. Documents he and Marcus had filed 3 years ago when they officially formed the company. He'd signed them, of course, but Christopher had to admit he hadn't read them carefully. Marcus had handled the legal setup. "Just standard stuff," Marcus had said. "Boilerplate incorporation documents." Christopher had trusted him. Now, reading carefully for the first time, Christopher saw it. The company was incorporated with Marcus Chen as sole owner and CEO. Christopher Williams was listed as Chief Technology Officer, an employee position. Not a partner, not a co-founder, an employee. The confrontation. Christopher didn't sleep that night. He sat in his apartment, documents spread across his dining room table, trying to understand how this had happened. At 7 a.m., he drove to the office. Marcus's car was already there. Christopher walked in. Marcus was at his desk on the phone. He saw Christopher and his expression changed. Just for a second. Fear? Guilt? Then the smile. "Hey man, I'll call you back. Chris just walked in." Marcus hung up. "Early morning? We need to talk." "Sure, what's up?" Christopher put the incorporation documents on Marcus's desk. "What is this?" Marcus glanced at them. His jaw tightened. "Chris, let me explain. Explain how you listed yourself as sole owner. Explain how I'm an employee. Explain how the $6 million investment is in your name. It's complicated." "It's not complicated." Christopher's voice rose. "We started this together. 50-50. That was the deal." Marcus stood up. "The deal was we build a company," which we did. "But from a legal standpoint, I structured it in a way that made sense for fundraising. VCS don't like complicated cap tables with multiple founders. So you just cut me out?" "I didn't cut you out. You're CTO. You have a job. You're getting paid." "I don't want a job. This is my company. I built this. We built this together." Marcus's face hardened. "You built the product, Chris. I built the business. I raised the money. I brought in the clients. I made this company valuable. You wrote code. That's important, but it's not the same as what I did. Christopher felt like he'd been punched. You're serious. You actually believe that? I'm being realistic. Look, I'll give you stock options, a generous package, but the equity structure is set. The investment is done. Papers are signed. This is how it is. I'll sue you. Marcus smiled coldly. With what money? You quit your consulting job, remember? You've been living off finance flow salary, which I control. You have maybe $20,000 in savings. Legal fees for this kind of case? Probably $200,000, minimum. Christopher realized Marcus had planned this. All of it. The delayed fundraising, the legal structure, the positioning. His best friend, his brother, had systematically stolen everything they'd built together. Why? Christopher asked, his voice breaking. We were partners. We were friends. Why would you do this? Marcus looked at him for a long moment. Because I could. The aftermath. Within a week, Marcus had changed the locks on the office, had security escort Christopher out, cut off his access to all company systems. Christopher hired a lawyer with the last of his savings. The lawyer reviewed the documents and delivered bad news. Legally, he's in the clear. You signed these incorporation documents. You signed an employment agreement. On paper, you were never a partner. You were always an employee. But that's not what we agreed. We had a verbal agreement. Verbal agreements aren't worth the paper they're not written on. I'm sorry, Mr. Williams. You have no legal recourse here. Christopher sat in the lawyer's office, numb. Everything was gone. The business he'd built, the dream he'd sacrificed for, the future he'd imagined. All of it stolen by the man he trusted most in the world, the spiral. The next months were the darkest of Christopher's life. Emma tried to be supportive, but the stress fractured their relationship. She'd quit her job to help with finance flow. Now neither of them had income. Their wedding plans evaporated. By April, she'd moved out. I love you, Chris, she said, but I can't watch you destroy yourself over this. Christopher's parents didn't understand. Just get another job, his father said. Move on. But Christopher couldn't move on. Every day he'd wake up consumed by rage, by the injustice, by the betrayal. He'd drive by the finance flow office and see it thriving, see Marcus arriving in a Tesla, see the company he'd built succeeding without him. Meanwhile, Christopher was broke, living in a studio apartment, working a contract coding job that paid half what he'd made before, watching his dream exist without him. The worst part, everyone thought Marcus was a genius entrepreneur. Christopher was just the bitter former employee spreading lies about not being properly compensated. You're obsessed, a friend told him. This is eating you alive. You need to let it go. But how do you let go of being erased from your own story? Late at night, Christopher would imagine revenge. He'd imagine exposing Marcus, creating a website documenting the theft, contacting tech blogs, making sure everyone knew what Marcus had done. He'd imagine sabotaging finance flow. He still knew the code base intimately. He could introduce bugs, corrupt data, make the platform unstable. He'd imagine something darker, confronting Marcus physically, making him feel pain the way Christopher felt pain. These fantasies were vivid, detailed, satisfying, but they were also poison. Christopher knew it. Every hour spent imagining revenge was an hour not spent rebuilding his life. But he couldn't stop. The betrayal had hollowed him out. Revenge was the only thing that filled the space. Until one morning, 18 months after the betrayal, when Christopher got a phone call that changed everything. Christopher's phone rang at 7:02 a.m. on a Saturday. Unknown number. Hello? Is this Christopher Williams? A woman asked. Calm, clinical. My name is Dr. Patricia Rodriguez. I'm calling from Massachusetts General Hospital. You're listed as Marcus Chen's emergency contact. Christopher's chest tightened. That can't be right. We haven't spoken in over a year. According to our records, you're the only one listed. Mr. Chen was brought in last night. He's been in an accident. A pause. Is he alive? He's stable, but there are complications. He asked for you specifically. The man who destroyed his life wanted to see him. Every instinct said no, but Christopher heard himself say, I'll be there. The hospital. Marcus was in the ICU tubes, machines, a face Christopher barely recognized. Car accident, Dr. Rodriguez said quietly. Severe internal injuries. He needs a liver transplant. Without it, he has weeks. Christopher stared through the glass. Marcus was dying. He asked to see you, she added. Christopher hesitated, then stepped inside. Marcus opened his eyes. Relief flickered, then shame. You came. They called, Christopher said flatly. I'm dying, Chris. I know. Silence stretched between them. I'm sorry, Marcus whispered. Christopher laughed once. Bitter. You stole everything from me. I know, Marcus said. Greed, ego, fear. I told myself you'd be fine. I was wrong. You destroyed my life. And it destroyed mine, Marcus said. The success never felt real. Because I knew. Then barely audible. I was going to fix it 3 months ago. The papers are in my apartment. If I die, they die too. A nurse stepped in, adjusted the machines. He needs rest. Christopher turned to leave. Chris, Marcus said, you were my brother. Christopher didn't respond. He sat in his car for 2 hours. This should feel like justice. Instead, it felt empty. The next morning, the phone rang again. Mr. Williams, Dr. Rodriguez said, this is extraordinary, but you're AB negative, correct? Christopher already knew what she was asking. You're a match, she said. A partial liver donation could save his life. Silence. Save the man who betrayed him, or let him die. Revenge or compassion, justice or mercy. And for the first time since the betrayal, Christopher understood. Some choices don't come with relief, only consequence. Christopher agreed to the medical tests, not because he had decided to donate, but because he needed time. The test would give him that. 3 days later, Dr. Rodriguez called. You're a perfect match. We can schedule surgery within a week, but I need you to understand. This is risky, painful, and completely voluntary. No one would blame you if you walk away. Can I think about it? Yes, but Mr. Chen doesn't have much time. Christopher hung up and made a call he hadn't made in months. Emma? They met at a quiet coffee shop. Emma looked calm, moved on. That hurt more than he expected. Christopher told her everything. The betrayal, Marcus's illness, the impossible choice. When he finished, she didn't rush to answer. You want me to tell you what to do, she said softly. Yes, I can't, but I'll tell you this. The Chris I fell in love with wouldn't even be hesitating. He'd already be at the hospital. That Chris was naive. He trusted people. No, Emma said. That Chris was good. And this anger you're carrying, it's destroying you more than Marcus ever did. Christopher swallowed hard. You have every right to be angry, she continued. But ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be free? Saving him wouldn't be about Marcus. It would be about who Christopher still wanted to be. The night before, Christopher scheduled the surgery. That night, doubt flooded in. Marcus didn't deserve mercy, didn't deserve life. His phone rang, his mother. Are you sure, she asked. No, Christopher admitted. But if I let him die when I could save him, I become someone I don't want to be. Marcus had stolen his business. Christopher wouldn't let him steal his humanity. For the first time in months, he slept. The operation lasted 8 hours. When Christopher woke up, pain ripped through him. Dr. Rodriguez stood nearby. He's stable, she said. The transplant was successful. You saved his life. Christopher closed his eyes. He didn't feel forgiveness, but he felt something else. Peace. The anger was still there, just quieter now, smaller, because he had chosen compassion over revenge and reclaimed himself. They recovered in separate rooms. On the 4th day, Marcus appeared at Christopher's door, pale, weak, alive. I don't have words, Marcus said. Good, Christopher replied. I didn't do this for you. I did it so bitterness wouldn't turn me into someone I'm not. I understand. We're not friends. I don't forgive you. This doesn't erase what you did. Marcus nodded. I know. At the door, he stopped. The equity papers, they're real. I'll make it right. Even if you never speak to me again. Christopher didn't answer, but for the first time in 18 months, he believed healing had begun. 6 months later, Marcus kept his word. The lawyers finalized everything. 40% equity in finance flow. Retroactive to the beginning, plus back pay. The money didn't erase the damage, but it gave Christopher something he hadn't had in a long time. Options. He didn't return to the company. Too much history. Instead, he stayed on as a silent partner, board member, owner, distant. With the settlement, Christopher built something new, a consulting firm helping startup founders protect themselves from the mistakes he made. Trust matters, he told clients, but paperwork matters more. The business grew fast. People trusted someone who spoke honestly about his own failure. Emma reached out. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Lighter," Christopher said. "Like I'm finally moving forward." "And Marcus?" "We're civil. That's enough." A year after the transplant, Christopher stood on a stage in front of 500 entrepreneurs. "I'm going to tell you about the worst thing that ever happened to me," he began, "and the best decision I ever made." He told them everything. The betrayal, the rage, the revenge fantasies. Then the hospital call, the impossible choice. "I didn't save him because I'm a saint," he said. "I saved him because revenge was turning me into someone I didn't recognize." The room was silent. "The person who hurts you doesn't get to decide who you become," Christopher continued. "You decide that by your choices." Revenge feels powerful, but it's a prison. Compassion didn't free him, it freed me. The email. 2 years later, an email arrived. Subject, "Thank you." Marcus wrote about sobriety, about guilt, about the night that nearly killed him, drunk, broken, lost, about how being saved forced him to face who he had become. He had given his shares to charity, started a foundation, put Christopher's name on it. "You saved my life twice," Marcus wrote. "Once physically, once by showing me what strength really looks like." Christopher read the email slowly. Then he replied, "I don't know if forgiveness is the point," he wrote, "but I don't wish you harm. I hope you become better. We're not friends, but we're not enemies. That's enough." He hit send and felt the final weight fall away. Compassion, Christopher realized, isn't about the other person. It's about refusing to let pain turn you bitter, about choosing again and again who you want to be. And sometimes, the most powerful transformation isn't changing someone else's life. It's reclaiming your own. The lesson. Christopher Williams is 38 now. His consulting firm is thriving. He's rebuilding his life, dating again, at peace. Marcus is sober, running the foundation, trying to make amends the only way he can. They aren't close. They probably never will be. But they're both better than they were. All because Christopher made one impossible choice. Not the easy one, not the satisfying one, but the honest one. He chose compassion over revenge. Not because Marcus deserved it, but because Christopher deserved freedom. For you, maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe someone hurt you in a way that still wakes you up at night. Maybe you replay it. Imagine revenge. Imagine justice. That's human. But this story teaches something simple and hard at the same time. The person who hurt you doesn't get to decide who you become. Revenge can feel powerful, but it keeps you chained to the pain. Compassion, real, difficult compassion, doesn't excuse what they did. It releases you. You don't have to forgive. You don't have to reconcile. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. But you do have to choose, will this pain make you bitter? Or will you refuse to let it steal your humanity too? Christopher faced that choice once in the most dramatic way imaginable. You face it every day in smaller moments, when you think about them, when you speak about them, when you decide who you are becoming. Because the greatest revenge isn't destroying the person who hurt you, it's refusing to let them destroy you. Please subscribe for more true stories that challenge you to be better than your pain. Stories that prove the greatest strength isn't revenge, it's transcending the cycle of hurt. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done in Christopher's place? Would you have donated? Would you have chosen compassion or justice? Drop your honest answer in the comments. No judgment, just truth. Because until we're honest about how hard forgiveness is, we can't appreciate how powerful it can be. The final truth: Christopher Williams donated part of his liver to the man who destroyed his life. He didn't do it because Marcus deserved it. He did it because Christopher deserved to be free. The greatest strength isn't found in revenge. It's found in refusing to let revenge define you. That's the choice. Every single day. Who will you choose to be? Moral lessons. Compassion is harder and stronger than revenge. Your betrayer doesn't get to define your future. Forgiveness is for your freedom, not their redemption. The greatest revenge is refusing to become bitter. True strength is choosing who you want to be despite pain. Anger is a prison, compassion is the key. You can acknowledge hurt without being consumed by it. Humanity is something no one can steal unless you give it away.